And everybody, how you doing? Awesome, awesome. How's life out there in your guys' land in your guys' world? Just getting things set up here, getting things started. I want to thank Shailene, Joseph, who's getting things kicked off here for me. All right, here we go. Cool. Hope everyone can hear me okay. Don't mind me, I'm just getting things set up here. Want to make sure I can see everything right. Oh, that'll work. Cool. Hey, everybody. This is Gene Tagaban with the Native Wellness Institute. Welcome to our power hours, which we provide every day during the weekday. And then, so we are in week 56. Believe that? 56. And I think we're on program 312, let's say. And this program is sponsored by the Seattle Indian Health Board. Thank you, Seattle Indian Health Board, for assisting us and all the work that you do out there. And so, with these uh, Native Wellness Power Hours, we put these together just as a response to when the pandemic hit and everything closed down, as we knew that traumatized people would be re-traumatized during this time. And so we wanted to provide some kind of service, resource, healing for those of our brothers and sisters, our relatives out there. And so we're here to tell stories. We're here to share a little bit of culture, tradition, some trainings, workshops on a variety of topics. And those who are tuning in, some of you have been loyal watchers. I thank you. I really thank you for your presence. I really thank you for your attention and your response to the work that we do, and being here for yourself too, and making that choice to come on. So Konachish, Konachish, Konachish. And again, my name is Gene Tagaban. I'm of the Duckdane Ton clan, Raven Freshwater Sockeye clan from Hoona, Alaska, child of a Wishkatan, Eagle Shark clan from Mahuan in Juneau, Alaska. I'm Cherokee, Tlingit, and Filipino. And I tell people I'm a Cherokee Tlingit. And right now I'm coming to you from the territory of the Coast Salish people on the land of the Puyallup here in Ruston, Washington, in the Pacific Northwest. And I just want to say that it's just a beautiful day out there today. Spring is here. Spring is here. It's probably around 60 degrees out there, um, and beautiful, beautiful day out there. How about you? How is it going out there in your part of the world? I'm taking a look at some of these your chats here. Good to see you, Danny. Good to see you. Right on. Uh, So I'm just here to talk today a little bit about acknowledging the sacred, acknowledging the sacred. And with that, I just wanted to take some time right now. I just want to kick off this with a song. And as I sing this song, I'm just going to ask each of you to think about the land of your ancestors. Think about the land of your ancestors. And when I talk about ancestors, I'm thinking of referring to those great, 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 those old ancestors. You know, sometimes when I talk about ancestors, and I've asked youth and adults this question, when I refer to that, what comes to your mind? What comes to your heart? What comes to your knowing? And and oftentimes it's we get only to maybe grandmas, grandpas, great great grandmas, grandpas, relatives, and such. But our ancestors go way, 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 way back. And it's those ancestors that have dreamt us into existence. They've dreamt us into existence. They've prayed us into existence. And my heritage is Cherokee too. And so literally my ancestors walked me into existence. And I share with people oftentimes, I wonder how many more ancestors I would have that are around, how many cousins, relatives I'd have if they survived that trail, the one that's called the Trail of Tears. But even with that too, it's like I look at my mother, who's full blood Cherokee, and I see the resilience, I see the strength, and I see the sacred in her because there's the ones who survived, who made it, are in her. And I just want to even say the sacred, acknowledging um, the sacred of those who even passed on, who didn't make it, and even those of our people who died in the hands of genocide. You know, the sacred in their presence, their presence. You know, because yeah, they prayed for me, and part of my vision, part of my purpose of why I'm here is um, I feel I have a responsibility to move forward, to move forward, and to keep that the remembrance of those ancestors, keep them keep them relevant and alive, you know. And so, how about you? How about you? Who are your people? Who are your ancestors? And do we take the time to really acknowledge them? You know, and acknowledging the sacredness in who they are in their life and in their death, that sacredness. And I also want to acknowledge the sacredness of and the ancestors of the trees, of the mountains, of the rivers, the land, the oceans, the animals themselves, the animals themselves, and the people. I was looking at these photos and these images of the buffalo, of how they just ran abundant over this land, you know, and then seeing the skulls of the genocide that they went through. But I can't help but just imagine that their ghosts and their spirits are still running across the land, across the land. And my belief, maybe this is my belief, my own imagination, my own hallucination, that they will re-emerge again. But there's sacredness in their life and in their death. But those animals, those beings, the land, the waters, they too are our ancestors. We learn from them. And so I'm going to sing this song, and I just want you just to think about, just take a moment just to think about, get away. You know, maybe you might be driving in your car right now and listening. Um, you know, I want you to pay attention to the road, but just to kind of reflect on this. But also, if you're at your desk, just push yourself back away from your desk and just take a moment just to reflect on this, the land of your ancestors and your ancestors and everything they went through. And if you don't know, because you may have been part of those generations, that they're stolen generations, those who are taken from your people, forced to you know, your ancestors forced to go to a school and never made it back home. And you yourself might be searching for your heritage, for who you are, for who you are. So if you don't know your heritage and who your ancestors are, think about the sunrises and sunsets. Think about the waves that come gently onto the shore. Think about the breeze, the gentle breeze that goes through the leaves on the trees. And those leaves, they move and they dance a little bit. And the reflection of the sun through the leaves on the ground. Think about maybe the sound and the song, the buzz of the hummingbird, or the call of the coyote or the eagle or raven. Because those things, it doesn't matter where you come from. Our ancestors listened to those same exact things. They watched the moon and the stars. They saw those things. They saw those things. And if you're a non-native person, or I like to say a person of non-color, and those, but your ancestors listened to those same things too. And to connect with your ancestry as well. I've talked to so many non-colored people, non-native, say white people, who have lost their connection to their ancestors, who have fought hard and suffered hard for you to be here, for you to be here too. And that in itself, that the sacredness of that as well. Because I truly believe that everyone who is on here right now, we're all dreaming the future generations into existence too, eh? Just with your presence here. Just with your presence. And so just take a moment as I sing this song, just to take a breath, just to acknowledge an acknowledgement of those who struggled so that you're here, and the struggle that you're going through. Maybe you're going through some hard times of during this pandemic, identity of who you are, and yeah, or maybe you're going through a little bit of depression. Yeah, maybe you've been drinking a little bit too much or eating a little bit too much too, because you're just having a hard time, you know. And these struggles are real. I know a lot of us are grieving right now because we've lost loved ones, and these struggles are real. They're real. And I want to acknowledge those struggles. And I want to encourage you to gosh, find that strength someplace deep inside of you to move forward and carry on, so that you can share these, and so we can all dream the future generations into existence as well. So this is a little bit of breathing time right now, just in this moment. And that's all it is, just in a moment, as I sing this song. As I sing this song. Oh, hey, hey, oh, oh, he, oh, oh, hey, hey, oh, oh, he, oh, hey, 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 oh, hey, 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 he, oh, hey, 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 oh, hey, 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 he, oh, where yo, where yo, oh, hey, hey, oh, oh, he, oh, oh, hey, hey, oh, oh, he, oh, hey, 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 oh, hey, 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 he, oh, where yo, where yo, oh, gonna cheese. Thank you. Thank you. Just for taking that collective moment, all of us taking that collective moment just to step into the sacred, just to step into the sacred of singing the song, of taking a breath, of all of us stepping into that moment of just of thinking about ancestry and acknowledging ancestry and saying thank you to ancestry, and those who came before us, fought for us, and because there's power there in that unity of all of us coming together. There's power in that, and there's strength in that moment. Because right now, what we have here is I tell people, I like to share with people that we're a story, and our life is a story, and we're all storytellers. And right now, I'm part of your story, and you are part of my story at this moment. And what we have here is just a moment in our life story, and our life story. And the sacredness of this moment, because this moment will never, ever, ever happen again in the creation and the existence of this universe, this moment now. And so the sacredness of taking this time of just this moment in your life story, in your life story. And then in your life, the story of your life is part of this here larger story. And we're here for a moment. So what are you going to make of that moment and the larger, bigger picture of this existence? What are you going to make of this moment with your life of who you are, the sacredness of your life of who you are, the presence of your life of who you are? And I'm saying this too, is like the acknowledging the sacred, because you are the sacred, each and every one of you. And I know some of you are having a hard time. You go up to the mirror and you look in the mirror and you're struggling. You're having a hard time. And I know during this year time, God, it just hurts my heart that there's an increase in suicides. There's an increase in domestic violence and hurt and harm out there. And there's an increase of just of violence, and we see it on the news, and it just really hurts my heart. And just that's external stuff that's out there. But then when you look into the mirror, you're looking at that mirror and you're seeing that image of yourself and all that internal stuff that's fallen on you. It's like a blanket that has just covered you up with this here of this internal turmoil that's going on. And you're like wondering, what the hell what is going on? What am I going to do? I don't know what to do. I'm lost. I'm lost. I feel that way too sometimes. I feel that way too sometimes. I feel that way too sometimes when I don't hold myself as a sacred being. And I got a deep, deep hurt inside, and so I need to go outside. I need to do stuff. I need to battle. I need to give myself a chance. I need to fight for myself. I need to battle for myself, whatever that is. I need to give myself a chance. And giving myself a chance is like just sometimes it's just getting up in the morning and moving. Getting up in the morning and just taking that first breath. Stepping outside in the morning, just feeling the cold air on my skin, on my being. And then and sometimes it's just existing and making it. But I'll tell you what, it's just that, but it's in that moment though. Again, we're all made of moments. And then the next moment, I'm doing well. I'm doing fine. And I know that those who are like who have attempted suicide or have ended their lives too, when it comes to suicide, that it's just they had a moment that was just took over. I just had that moment. The sacredness of the moment. The sacredness of the moment. And so, gosh, I'm just reflecting inside here. Yeah, I didn't think that I didn't know if I was gonna where I was gonna go with this. This was not the direction that I thought I was gonna go in this conversation, in this time, And but this is sometimes that's where it is. That's where it goes. I mean, it's like sometimes it's like yeah, just taking that time to just to be real with yourself and others. And I want to just thank you here because this taking this time right now to be able to discuss this, what a gift that I have right now. What a gift that I have in this moment right now with you who are out there. Because I know many of our relatives, they don't have that. So what can we do? What can we do? How can we reach out to them? How can we be that healing influence, even in our own struggles, even in our own depths of that hurt, and even in our own depths, I'm going to say it, even in our own depths of pissed off because of stuff that's going out in the world. How can we just take a deep breath? Okay, I got to keep moving forward. And even in the depths of all that, how can we still be that healing influence for others? What do we need to do? What do we need to do? And so I'm like, acknowledging the sacred. You are the sacred, and even in our struggles, it's the sacred. Even in our it's all that is just the sacred. It's us. I mean, the water too. I drink a lot of water. Ask my wife, Ruby. She'll tell you I drink a ton of water. But water is life. Every time I'm on the Zoom, I'm always drinking water. I have a friend, Chelsea and Thosh. They work with Welfare Culture, and they're both with Native Wellness Institute. And they talk about the sacredness of movement, sacredness of water, the sacredness of eating real foods, the sacredness of sleeping, the sacredness of community, of sacredness of area, space, land, all those things sacred. And and I need to bring those sacredness into my life as well. The sacredness of my food, because it influences you and your thought. If we're drinking way too many sodas, way too many of the energy drinks, it influences our mind, it influences our energy, it influences our bodies. If I'm if I'm not moving, thank God my wife, well, she'll like encourage me, get outside and move. I know you're in a bad mood. I know you're you just need to move. And I have this belief that if I don't move, I'm gonna die. If I don't move, I'm gonna die. That's a belief that sticks with me, and so I gotta move. I gotta keep moving my body. And sometimes it's like so many of us we're missing the movement of just dance, man. How many of you we miss the powwow trail? We miss the ceremonies, and we miss the potlatches. We're missing all those things because we just that this it's the drum itself. I mean, just the drum itself, the sound of the drum. I love it when that big drum is just drumming, boom, 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 and they're singing at the top of their lungs. I'm standing right next to that drum because it's the whole vibration, the whole energy is like just coming into my body, coming into my soul, in a deep, 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 deep level. And it's healing me. And I know I'm missing that. I'm missing that. I'm missing just the dance, and just like we're sweating. You're out there and the sweat is just pouring down, and your legs are burning, your legs are hurting, but you're not dancing for yourself, but you're dancing for the people. I miss that movement, our culture, our traditions, and doing that. How about you? How about you? I'm taking a look out here, the heartbeat. Jess is talking about it. You're dancing around the house. I let the music move me right on Zumba. Yeah. Oh, there's my wife. Thanks, Ruby, my love. And she needs to move and ride daily, because I get grumpy, and she knows that. She'll like kick me out of the house, and and I really appreciate her for that, because I'll tell you what. Sometimes Ruby, in her that you know she gets in her stuff too, and all this stuff affects her. She's a teacher as well, but how can her healing influence is encouraging me to get out, encouraging me to take care of herself, because helping me heal is helping her heal. So when you're out there helping somebody else heal, even if you're in your stuff, man, encouraging others to heal, you're encouraging yourself to heal as well. How can we be that encouragement? How can we be that healing influence? Yeah. And so there's a guy who I met down the road. His name is Free. Is this old guy, and I think I was like in my mid-20s at the time, and I was a tree planter. No, I was probably about more like 23 at the time, and I was a tree planter. I planted trees in the forests of Southeast Alaska and the Tongass. The Forest Service would cut them down, and they'd hire me and my buddy to go in and we'd plant them. We'd be out there in the forest, out there in the woods. Sometimes they'd carry us in with helicopters, drop us off in the remote, and bring in our trees, and we're just out there on our own, and we're planting these trees. And sometimes we'll be coming out there, and we'll see animals, we'll see deer, we'll see little mice running around, we'll see eagles and geese and ravens flying around, the blue jays, the hummingbirds flying all over the place, and it's and planting trees can be hard, because you spend a lot of time by yourself, and a lot of people, they have a hard time spending time with themselves, because we get in our own minds and even our own thoughts, and so we have that hard time. And even to this day, I mean, it's like you see that, we have to turn on the TVs, we have to turn on the computer, we have to turn on the phone and such. But I spent a lot of time out there thinking about everything by myself. And I remember an elder said, if you ever run into a bear, you always talk to that bear. You always talk to that bear. I was Ishan Uhan. Oh, I'm a pitiful human being. I'm us out here. Tell them what you're out there for. Tell them what you're out there for. So there's many times where I ran into these bears out there in their home, in their land. And I'd talk to them, and I would thank them. And I'd thank them. But out there planting these trees and seeing the sacredness of the wilderness and the nature. But I was just this young man out there, and I ran into this. We took a break, and I ran into this older man. His name's Free. He's an old white guy. At least I think he was. But he was riding his bike around the world, and he had all this stuff plastered on his bike. And he came off the ferry, and everybody looked at him like he was some kind of like weirdo, like some kind of freak. But I told myself, I got to go see this guy. I got to go meet this guy. And so he set up camp just outside of town, a little bit on the beach. And he had solar powered this and that. It was just when it was coming out. And I went to him. I said, "Hey, Free." Well, I asked him, "Hey, what's your name?" He goes, "My name's Free." Free. What kind of name is that? I said, "Name. My name's Free." I had a long beard and stuff tied to it. His hair was all long and skinny guy. And he offered me some food. I sat down and I took it. Food. The sharing of a meal. Sacred time, sacred space. The sharing of a meal. Don't you miss those? When the family got together, the people got together, and we would just share a meal. Yeah. That's why we got to take care of ourselves, man. We can get through this. But Free handed me some food, handed me a drink, juice. I sat there with him, with Free. And I asked him, "What are you doing, man?" He says, "I'm riding my bike around the world." And I asked him, "Why? Why? What's your purpose of that?" And he told me that my purpose of that is that he used to have a job on Wall Street, making millions of dollars. Didn't care about anyone, just money. Just money. He had about 5 houses, cars, suits, all those things. And then he got in an accident. And he said for about 5 years, he was paralyzed from the neck down. Couldn't walk, couldn't move. He could talk, had his mind. But he said after that, all that is like the value. He learned about what he really valued. He learned about what he really valued. And I ask you, it's like, what do you value? If you lost everything, if you lost the use of your body all the way down, all you had was your mind, your thoughts, lost everything. I mean, what would you value? I mean, it gives you time to think about that, eh? What would you value? And he told me what he really valued was just the sacredness of breath, of being able to breathe, because that's all he could do. And he was like saying, through his breath of breathing, he was able to heal. Through his breath, his breathing, he was able to expand his lung capacity so that his body can move outward more and more and more. And through his breath and the concentration and his breathing, and think about his breath and his breathing, he would start moving his body, his upper body, his shoulders with his breath. He started to concentrate on the movement of his fingers with his breath, his hands. And he started to imagine in his mind his skeletal system healing, his nervous system healing, his muscular system healing, his whole system healing from his mind and his breath. See, our mind, our breath, and our thoughts are powerful. Our thinking. See, Creator gave us that, man. Our Creator gave us our thought. And how are you using your thought? How are you using your thinking? And I want to continue to say is like to use your thinking and your thought and keep it moving. And it's all energy. Our thinking, our thought is all energy. And even if we get stuck in a belief system, and if it works for us, a belief system, See, I have a belief system that my culture is healing. I totally believe in that. But still, I still need to think about it. I still need to develop it. I just can't let it sit there stagnant like a pond of water that just sits there. It doesn't move. Our thinking is energy, and we have to use it and keep it moving. Our minds are powerful. So he just thought about his breath, his whole system, and kept moving and breathing. And soon he was able to move his shoulders. Soon he was able to move his arms, his hands. Soon he said is that he felt that his whole nervous system started to heal just through breathing and the use of his mind and imagining it and seeing it. Soon he was able to move his legs. 5 years later, he was able to walk. He was able to walk. And I'm asking you, how do you use your thought? How do you use your mind? How do you use your breath? How do you use this whole system right here? And again, the topic of this today is this acknowledging the sacred, because our breath is sacred, our mind is sacred, our body is sacred. This whole being that we have here, this is sacred. This is sacred right here. How do you use it? And how do you use it when we get down and we just think about just everything just sucks right now, everything's just hard, and we take a look at the world and we let the influence of the media and influence of the news going on out there and everything, it influences us here, and we let that affect us. And again, I want to stress that we let it affect us. And when we let it affect us, it becomes a choice, letting it affect in us. But how can we use our breath, our mind, our tradition, our bodies, the sacredness of who we are, and the purpose? What is your purpose in this world? Heal you and move you. Ruby always asks me, I need to acknowledge this too. And she says, why don't you say this more and acknowledge more that my purpose is global transformation. Global transformation. And I truly believe in the answer to global transformation is held in the wisdoms, the stories of indigenous peoples. But as indigenous peoples, we need to be present to it. We need to be present to it. And that's being present to ourselves as well, healing ourselves so that we can be present to those wisdoms. We're not sharing sacredness. There's some things that are just universal truths. Go out to the earth, go out to the land. There's just some things that are universal truths. And but yeah, global transformation. So free. After he was able to walk, he set on a quest. He's just going to travel around the world and share and teach and learn and experience. And it wasn't about money. It wasn't about the houses or the cars or anything like that. And all he had was his breath, his mind, his physical body that healed. And with that, he just saw that everything that he had here, the sacredness of it, the sacredness of this little finger, the sacredness of the little toe, the sacredness of his heart, his lungs, his liver, intestines, kidneys, pancreas, all these parts of us. The sacredness. And I have to admit, to be honest with you, I need to take better care of the sacredness of who I am. How about you? Are you taking care? We always look at the external parts of who we are. But are you taking care of your lungs? Are you taking care of your heart? Are you taking care of your intestines, your nervous system, your pancreas, gallbladder? I know some of you are like laughing. What the heck is this Indian talking about? Are you taking care of your brain? All these parts, these internal parts that are going on, are you taking care of those things? We always look at the external, man. I'm gaining a little weight, I'm getting wrinkles, this or that. I don't have the muscle tone or whatever it is. But are you taking care of those other sacred parts that are inside our esophagus? Are we taking care of those? I admit I need to do better. I need to do better. And part of it too here is on talking about it too is like it's talking about it as being more accountable too, because here you are, man. I'm admitting it to you. How are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of yourself in that way? The sacredness of acknowledging the sacredness of who you are as a human, as a human. Because oftentimes we treat ourselves as a human, but we are a human being. The beingness of who we are. The beingness of who we are. And so, let me see here. Hey, thanks for listening to me, man. And Patricia, it's good to see you. It's been a long time. Good storyteller. Thanks for joining in, Jess. Thanks for joining in. And thanks for just tuning in today. And again, my name is Gene Tagaban. I'm with the Native Wellness Institute, and you've tuned into our Power Hour today. We're sponsored by the Seattle Indian Health Board, and talking about just talking, man. The topic was acknowledging the sacred, but oftentimes I just start talking and rambling on. So how are you? I just want to say is when it comes to acknowledge. Oh yeah, I want to finish the story with Free. Yeah, Free was I met him a couple more times up there in Southeast Alaska. I wonder whatever happened to him. And by now he's probably in the ancestor world, in the spirit world, because he's getting up there in age when I saw him. And I wonder if he made it around the world. And I wonder about his adventures that he was on. And it's interesting too, is like the individuals that come into your life, you meet them, and you might meet them one time, and then you'll never see them again. But that one meeting of them influenced you for the rest of your life by meeting them that one time. Do you have any people like that in your life that have influenced you to a point that you've shifted, you've grown, you've changed, and still after all these years, you still think about that one individual and that one encounter and that one meeting with the individual? Do you have people like that in your life? These sacred encounters that we have with these other human beings. There was this one time when I was in New Zealand. And I had some free time. And I was with a group of people, and everyone, they asked, what do you want to do with your free time? Some people said, they want to go to the city, or they wanted to go shopping. And I didn't want any part of that. And I looked off in the distance. It wasn't too far, maybe 10 miles away. I said, I want to go hike in those mountains right there. And they go, oh, you want to go trekking? Trekking, they call it, trekking over there. I go, yeah. Say, oh yeah, I could take you over there. There's a trail system over there, but don't go off the trail system. Many people get lost back there because they go off the trail. And then I had to ask a question. If I go up there in those mountains, is there anything that will hurt me or harm me? And I'm talking about snakes, spiders, big animals, or anything like that. Need to be aware. And it was like the perfect answer. No. We don't have any venomous snakes here. We don't have any venomous spiders here. We don't have any big animals that are going to take you out. The only thing that you have to worry about, maybe there's a crazy man that might go up there, running around up there. But, uh, no, they'll most likely leave you alone. And so I went up into those mountains up there and I hiked around. I got to the top up there. As I'm at the top, I just like laid down. I fell asleep up there on the grass. I can't even remember how long I slept. I just laid up there. And then I started to make my way down. I was thinking to myself, oh, I should make my way down, backtrack and go the way back I came up. But no, I'm just like, that's just not in my nature. So I had to go totally this other trail, and it took me like way, just miles out of the way where I needed to end up at. I remember walking down this trail, then I heard this bell ringing. It's like this, like a cowbell coming up the trail. I'm going, what the heck is this? And so I stood on the side of the trail right next to a tree, and there's this goat. This goat, big old, just looked like this. He had something like this on his chin. He had these big horns going back like that, and he's like just going for a stroll, man, just cruising up the trail. Like just going, wow. It's like, man, it's a good day. I'm going up the trail. Went up the trail, then looked to the side of the trail, saw me. His goat eyes got about this big, and his goat legs started moving back down the trail, running down the trail because I totally freaked him out. Maybe that was that one encounter I had. I changed his life. But anyways, I made it down and I had no idea where I was at. Started walking this road. And I was tired, I was thirsty, and I was hungry. So I came up to this like little restaurant to the side. And this little restaurant was not like any restaurant. It wasn't a fancy chain. It wasn't anything. It was just a mom and pop place on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. So I went in there and ordered a little bit of food, got some water, even got a cup of coffee, and I sat down. I sat down. I was just about to start my meal. And then in walks this man, scruffy, kind of dirty, had a bag thrown over his shoulder. And the jacket he wore looked more like a poncho, like a rain poncho. He had boots on, and I was like, oh, wow, that guy must be hot, man. It's hot out there. And he looked around as if he was looking for a place to sit. And then he looked right at the table I was at. I was the only one in the place. There's plenty of tables all over the place, plenty of chairs, any place he could have sat there. But he looked at my table, walked up to my table, sat down, and looked right at me. Now this guy, he had dark skin from being outside. He was weathered. But he had these here really, really just blue eyes. I mean, like, it reminds me of that blue right there. These blue eyes, and they're deep, man. They're deep. And he looked at me, and he said that angels are around you everywhere. Angels surround you wherever you go. And just know that they're watching over you. Just know that they're watching over you. Just know that they're talking to you, teaching you, not only in the world that you're awake in, but also in the world that you're sleeping in. And you're going to be okay. And you're going to be okay. And I sat there and I listened to this guy who came into my life for just a moment. And then he got up. He walked out the door. And I was sitting there for just a moment. I thought about what the heck. I thought about what he said to me. And then I got up and I looked around. I looked outside and I didn't see anyone. But those words, this happened when I was late 20s. But I always remember that, and I always will remember that. That Our ancestors are around us. Angels are all around us. Our protectors are watching over us. The sacred of the spirit is all around us always. And if we pay attention and we open our eyes, again, it's like I see somebody in the messengers, ancestors are always communicating to us in so many ways. When you see that hawk flying over, or the call of the raven, or the seagull, or the wind through the trees, or maybe it's another human being that's like talking about something that is on your mind. Sacredness of communication by spirit is all around us, wherever we go. But always remember that guy. Maybe he was one of those ancestors. Maybe he was one of those spirits. I don't know. Maybe he was just a crazy old guy. Just came up to me and just wanted to mess with me. Said, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to tell this guy. I'm going to freak him out. Didn't freak me out, man. I was intrigued. Who knows? But he influenced me in a good way, in a healing way. And how can we be that healing influence on others? How can we be that sacredness in others? It first starts, we need to see the sacredness in ourselves. Acknowledge the sacredness of who you are. And please, 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 I beg of you, acknowledge the sacredness of your children. Acknowledge the sacredness of your children and men. If you're in a relationship with your wives, your girlfriends, partners, whoever they are, acknowledge the sacredness of them. And sisters, men, we're fragile. We are so fragile. But we need that acknowledgement of sacredness as well. I know men, we always think that we're tough and we're strong. And we can be, but gosh, we are so fragile. We let things get to us. I think women are a lot tougher than we are. Definitely spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Acknowledge the sacred. You are the sacred. Coming to the close of my time with you guys. I'm taking a look at some of these chats. Thank you all. Rainbow is on here. Tina, again, Patricia, Suzanne. ADAX. I just want to acknowledge all of you too. All of you too. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. And so with that, my name is Gene Tagaban. This is the Native Oneness Power Hour. We're on week 56. We're sponsored by the Seattle Indian Health Board. And I think we're on program 300 and something since the close of the pandemic. And I just wanted to say thank you all for the support that you've given all of us at the Native Waters Institute, because you give us strength. We couldn't do this without you. You give us strength. You help drive our passion. Yeah, you help drive the healing for the people. And I want to thank you. Thank you for being here. And you are the sacred as well. So Gonachish. Anya Hosani. Thank you all. And so I think I'm gonna sign off for now. Until next time. Tomorrow we have I can't remember who's on tomorrow. Oh yeah, hey man, we got MC1 coming to you and he's talking about leadership. He's a cool cat, like that guy. He's a DJ, and he uses his music. And again, we all have our skills, gifts, and talents, man. And DJ one's coming up tomorrow. He's gonna share some music with you and share his message, whatever it may be. I don't even know his title is leadership. So come on and tune in tomorrow if you need something to do. Grab your kids, your young ones, your youth. They can relate to this guy, and tune into tomorrow. So until next time, thank you. Be well. Be safe. Stay sacred. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with your spirit. Take some time just to breathe. Use your mind, your thinking, and your intelligence in a good way. In a good way. And we need you. We need you. And we need to come together collectively so we can dream the future generations into existence. And most of all, love each other. So with that, I'm out.